evening, adventurers, and welcome back to the maze. We're glad to have you here with us. With me, as always, is Stephen the Apprentice,
Hello, hello.
and with us tonight we have a special guest, the Mistress of Mazes, my wife, better half, the old ball and chain,
Oh my god.
Autumn Sky Booth. Autumn, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what brings you into the sphere of geekdom and nerddom?
Well, I am part of the MazeCast in a way behind the scenes. I am a giant nerd as well. I'm a BattleTech fan. I've been playing Dungeons and Dragons since I was 10 years old. Huge DragonCon attendee, prior judge. I've been an Iron Winds girl. I'm still judging again this year the Federation Empire pageant at DragonCon, and also part of the Handmaid's Tale, the cosplay of Gilead group, which I
Oh,
also help with Sarah.
cool.
So
So the mistress has jumped ahead of us as per usual and kind of let the cat out of the bag. Tonight's episode is going to be primarily focused around an upcoming convention. The beacons are lit in Atlanta, the banners are up and flying, and Dragon Con is nigh. Dragon Con is probably the largest science fiction multi genre convention held in southeastern United States. It started in 1987. It was started by a group affectionately known as Dagger, DAGR, the Dragon Alliance of Gamers and Role Players, which was a group in Atlanta back in 1987. Decided they wanted to have a convention of their own, have a bunch of like-minded people get together, play games, just have a great time. So that did start in 1987 in Atlanta in one hotel. For those of you who go to DragonCon and know what DragonCon is like, one hotel with only 1,400 attendees makes it sound infantile, but that was the first year of DragonCon. Now its attendance has soared as high as 2019. We had 85,000 people in 2019. I was there. That number was ludicrous. It was insane. There were terrible lines. They were
yeah.
breaking down the escalators and elevators. You couldn't get into a restaurant to save your life. It was bad. So they have thankfully capped attendance now at, I've heard everything from 70,000 to 75,000, but what I've heard the most, and from people who work as volunteers with the Dragon Con, is 72,000. I think last year we were right at about 72, so that number seems pretty accurate. But it is a huge convention, and it's become quite a tradition for the Mistress of Mazes and I. We have been going as long as we have been together. I've been going now. This will be my 24th year. We missed 1 year, unfortunately, due to family emergencies. And then, of course, in 2020, they did not have the convention because of COVID, the disease that shall not be named. But we wanted to talk a little bit about Dragon Con since the Master of Mazes will be there and representing the MazeCast and all of these wonderful people you see before you. So we'd like to talk a little bit about that tonight for those who are not aware of what it is. Um, I have been going, like I said, for 24 years now. Autumn, you've been going longer than I have.
I have my first Dragon Con was in 90. I think it was 92 or 93. I can't remember. I want to say 92, but my first T-shirt was 93, so I may have to say 93. I remember there were 8 of us piled in a rental van,
Right.
and we had one hotel room. And I know
Mm.
that's like breaking every law there is. We were all piled in the Hilton because back then it was pretty much just Hilton, Hyatt, Marriott. All these other hotels weren't around. I want to say there were like 15,000 people maybe that year, and it was
Mm-hmm.
it was very cozy. Um, and we slept on the floor and ate at the con suite and had such a great time that everyone decided to go back again the next year. And I've been pretty much every year since, except for the year that we skipped, and then the COVID year.
Right.
Uh,
So right at 30 years then. So this will be your
yeah, I think it's
30th
about 30
anniversary.
years, which, man, I wish I'd bought that Eternal membership back when I was
Who
21.
who knew? Who knew? And now
$500.
and now they're $5,000 for an eternal membership, and you have to
Yeah.
basically live to be 100 years old
You have to be a
to run it.
vampire to make it worth anything if you're not 18 years old. Like, that's the only way to get your money's worth, you know?
Right.
So, and I
So
remember thinking that was way too much money back then. Boy, could I shoot myself now. Ugh.
so to put it into perspective for those of you who are not familiar with Dragon Con, like I said, in '87 it was in one hotel. When Autumn went in '93, it was one hotel. Now it takes
Like
up all of the major hotels downtown. The Westin, the Marriott, the Hyatt Regency, the Hilton, the Cortland Grand, which used to be the Sheraton. So basically, the five largest hotels downtown are all packed to capacity between guests, attendees, and congoers. And they basically will spill out into other hotels throughout the downtown area and then out to the extent of the perimeter, so around the 285 corridor. Every hotel will be booked solid. People travel in who are locals, travel in by the MARTA to get there, because the MARTA does stop right across the street from the Hyatt, so it's easy access for local people to get there if they can get to the MARTA. But it's a huge convention now, which leads us into our next question: how bad are the crowds? I will tell you, they are terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's manageable. The con goers, the volunteers, bless the volunteers of Dragon Con, they do the best they can with monitoring crowds, keeping the flow of traffic and stuff going. It's just there are just so many people squeezed into a very small area downtown, and of course it's on Labor Day weekend when we're going to have a football game for Georgia Tech too. So people come in from out of town, and it is insane. I mean, it. There's con goers, there's football people, there's people in town for business, you name it, and and you put all these people into one big melting pot, and it can make for some humorous moments.
You're
Um,
forgetting the year that they had the Southern Baptist
no, I'm
Convention
not.
at the same time.
I was just getting ready to mention that.
Yes.
So they had the Southern Baptist Convention at the same time as Dragon Con in the same hotels. And we had a friend. This is when Autumn mentioned earlier she was an Iron Winds girl. Iron Winds is the people who do the metal miniatures for BattleTech, have been for years now. We got to be friends with a couple of guys from Iron Winds, and we volunteered to work their booth with them one year to help them sell product and stuff. It was the only year they ever made it to Dragon Con. They haven't been back since. Their presence is pretty much just online now. But one of the guys that was there with us, we called him Buddy Jesus because he looked like Buddy Jesus from the Jay and Silent Bob movies.
I somehow
And
remember that. I don't know why I know that, but I remember
you, I,
that. I remember that.
yeah, I think we showed you
That
a lot of
year.
pictures of it. We showed you a lot of pictures of it.
Oh, were you?
So,
Okay.
so he decided he wanted to cosplay. So we're like, well, you know what? Let's take a bed sheet off. We're going to give you a toga, and you're going to be Buddy Jesus. Well, he went down in the elevator with us, pulling his best Buddy Jesus impersonation. And when the elevator doors opened, there were three Baptist ministers standing there talking. And when he looked into the elevator and saw somebody that looked like Jesus, there was that moment of recognition and doubt on their faces. And it was hilarious to behold. I wish I'd had a camera on me at the time. And it was hilarious to watch their faces. The other thing that reminds me of that night was there was a guy there dressed as Tim Curry's Devil from Legend, the movie,
Mm-hmm.
and he was on one side of he was on the first balcony of the Hyatt Regency. He was on one side, Buddy Jesus was on the other, and all the crowds down below milling around because that was back when the Hyatt used to be the big happening scene for cosplay. Now it's all moved over to the Marriott. But everybody saw the devil, and he was getting them to raise their hands and scream for him. Then Buddy Jesus is on the other side, so there's this perpetual wave of good and evil going back and forth. It was hilarious. These are the kind of moments that keep me coming back to Dragon Con. We talk about how bad the lines are, how bad the waits are for everything. Panel waits are insane. I tried to go see Ed Greenwood
Mm.
last year. It was the only panel I wanted to go see. I got there 4.5 hours early, and the line was already around the block. And the guy that was working security told me, he said, you can get in line if you want to, but we're going to run out of seats before they run out of line. So he's like, I'll just save you the time. There's no point in waiting. And he's like, just go back to your room and watch it on DragonCon TV, which is what I wound up doing. So lines are terrible, waits are terrible, food court is terrible unless you go off hours to get food. But what keeps me coming back is just how much fun we have, despite the lines, despite the crowds, despite the heat. We just absolutely have a blast. That's why we go every year. It's become a tradition for us. So Steven got to go with us one year.
I did.
He was younger. But he had a blast getting his pictures taken with stormtroopers and everything
Mm-hmm.
else. So
It was
still
awesome.
trying to get him to go back, but
Yeah,
his
trying to
work
get me to
schedule
do
doesn't.
anything other than go to work or food line is pretty much impossible now, man.
Welcome to adulting.
Yeah,
So,
Adulting
y'all were
sucks.
right. It blows. I should have listened and died young, man.
sure, stay a kid. No, stay a kid.
Stay a
So
kid.
speaking of favorite Dragon Con memories, Autumn, what is your favorite Dragon Con memory?
Gosh, there are so many. I think my favorite though of all time is my 35th birthday, and my birthday is on
Okay.
Labor Day usually.
Yep.
And every so often, like half of the Dragon Cons, it falls. My birthday's on that week, and sometimes it's not. Like this time, it's not going to fall during Dragon Con week at all. But when I turned 35, I was actively first judging the Miss Klingon Empire pageant because I've been involved with that organization for quite some time.
Right.
And the guy who organized the pageant had not, unbeknownst to me, had organized everyone in the room to sing happy birthday to me as one of the judges while two Klingons carried me around in a chair about 10 feet up. It scared the ever-loving crap out of me. I'm like holding onto this chair for dear life because I'm like, God, please don't drop me. And then the other best experience, I mean, there's a lot. But another opportunity I got was to serve as a ring valet for the Iron Sheik for Dragon Con.
Yeah. That
was the most awesome experience. I am a huge WWE fan, a huge wrestling fan. And I was, I'm fairly active in the pageant world, and I was holding the title of Miss Virginia Galaxy at the time. And I think it was like I want to say about 2003, 2004 maybe. But the Iron Sheik was like the nicest person. He was the nicest person. And it took about 3 hours to learn how to do all the moves just to have, I was maybe on stage, I think maybe 5 minutes tops. But
maybe
it took hours to learn how to open the bars, you know, like to open the ring, to slap the mat the right way when someone knocks you down. Because I had to do this choreographed routine with the ballet for the babyface. And I was carrying his belt, which was so cool. I have one picture of it. I wish to God I gotten more pictures, but you know, this is before cell phones were super big. And people were booing me as I'm walking out. I'm like, these people don't even know me. Like, I'm like, you don't even know me. And
you're getting booed because you are the valet for the Iron Sheik, and he was
and I'm like,
he was the heel. So,
but it was amazing because like everyone was super nice, and you know, and I kind of knew that wrestling was scripted, but this definitely convinced me of it. But what I did learn was how freaking physical it is. Just to open the bars was or like the ring. God, that was hard. Like you're pulling like 50 pounds almost, it feels like. So I could just make it look easy, you know, to let the sheet get in.
Yeah.
And then carrying his belt. His belt is like 20 freaking pounds, you know, and you just got to make it look easy. And then when someone knocks you, you know, I did get like hit in the face several times.
Yeah.
And we put makeup on it, and I just kept on going. And but you have to slap the mat. So
make
if
the
you
pop
fall,
so it sounds real.
Right, you got to make it sound good so you can take a hit. But if it doesn't sound like a hit, they're gonna make you do it again and again until you get it right.
Yeah.
So what was like a 5-minute segment took about 4 hours of rehearsal for me to get it right, make it convincing, and not like break my face or hurt someone else.
It might be a show, but it's real work, man. Like it's
oh my God,
it's real
it is
work.
So athletic. I have the biggest respect for wrestlers, even you know, the valets and the women. The women wrestlers now are insanely strong. There wasn't as much of that 20 years ago, but the valets even would have to do, you know, choreographed stuff, and it is hard work. Like it is physically exhausting. You're taking a huge risk. And a lot of people, it's hard not to like take this stuff personal, because I was like, good gracious, these people are like so hateful. And then, you know, he told me afterwards, he's like, that is the result I want. They're booing me. You know, he was getting like an energy off of it. And I'm like, oh, okay, like you're doing your job.
I was about to say, you're doing your job. You know, you're doing well.
Yeah. So, Steven, how about you? I know you've only gone once with us, but do you have a favorite Dragon Con memory?
I think for me, it was just seeing the 501st, man. That was so cool. I'll never forget it. I was like just into Star Wars stuff then, and the movies were still kind of fresh, and seeing like the 501st Legion march down the road, that was like the first surreal moment I had like at a comic convention. That was probably the first one. I think that was even before like the Galaxy Cons and all that stuff.
So
like I went like right to like the craziness of that before I did like a small one. And I just remember seeing that. It was like larger than life. You probably remember, like I pestered the shit out of you forever for a Stormtrooper costume. Because I'm like, dude, I just want, like, that is so cool to me that all these people came together and are doing this thing, uniform. You can't even see their face. Like, it's not even like they're getting famous off of it. They're just doing it anyway. I just thought it was so awesome. It was so cool. That has to be that's up there. I think as far as that one, I remember going to the food court and like seeing all the. It was like shoulder to shoulder everywhere, and like all the costumes. Like we're waiting in line for like a sandwich, and there's like a guy dressed up as like Halo, ODST, and all that. And just like being a kid and being around that, because you never see that where we're from, you know. So like going somewhere in every room you go into, there's like one of your childhood heroes like drinking a Pepsi. That was just like, as a child, I was like, what in the hell? Like this is crazy, man. It was surreal.
Kind of,
it was surreal. And what's cool is it sounds like it stays surreal, right? Like you don't.
Yeah.
It's not because you've gone for 30 years. It's not special anymore. Like y'all still get excited. You still go.
Yeah.
You still are like you get like this childlike joy that as an adult doesn't really exist anymore. But you get to go for like a few days, and it's like, oh my god, guess who I saw? Guess what I did? Guess what I found? And that's cool.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't other than Christmas, that doesn't really happen anymore. You know. So,
it doesn't.
It's cool.
And,
it's cool.
To touch on the 501st, they were huge 20 years ago.
Oh, dude, it was insane.
They had literally 100 plus stormtroopers in the parade, and then of course you've got your bounty hunters and your Darth Vaders and your Rebel Alliance and your Jedis and stuff like that. But unfortunately, over the past 20 years, I think a lot of those guys have aged out, and I think interest has kind of waned. With the new Star Wars movies and shows and stuff, and so like now when you see there's still a significant Star Wars presence at like the parade and stuff like that, but you just don't see the 501st the way you used to. You know, they used to have a table. They were big with they're still big with charities, and they still do a lot with charities. They don't have the presence that DragonCon they used to anymore.
Yeah, it was something to see, man. It was awesome.
For me, I think my most favorite, I've got two. I'll keep it brief. The first one is probably and they're both Firefly moments, strangely enough. For those who know me, I'm a huge Firefly Serenity nerd. I was actually really deeply organized with the effort by fans to try to save Firefly when Fox was trying to cancel it, and we were trying to find it another home. We actually petitioned 20th Century Fox to put out a movie, and Serenity actually came out so that Josh could tell the story and kind of close out the storyline from the television series. But at that time, the cast were coming to DragonCon. And I remember Autumn and I were sitting at the bar at the Hyatt, because we stayed at the Hyatt every year at that time. And this guy comes up and he asks if he can sit down. He sits down at the table and he's like, hey, I'm just waiting on my wife. His wife walks up with her retinue. It's Jewel State, who played Kaylee in Firefly. So they sat with us for probably 30 minutes, just kind of talking and having drinks and just chatting like real people, which was kind of a surreal moment. But my favorite moment is when I ran into Adam Baldwin in the hallway, and I saw him, and he was without his handler. And I said, hey, Adam, we've got this panel going on at the bottom of the Hyatt this time. It's a small room. It's just going to be some fans getting together. We're going to watch a couple of episodes. We're going to talk about them. I said, if you could make it, that would be great. And he goes, my schedule's kind of tight. I doubt I can make it. And he said, but, hey, I appreciate the offer. And I said, okay, great. He shows up 15 minutes into the panel, and the room was a small room. I think we had maybe 40 or 50 people packed in this tiny little room. It was hot. We were watching episodes of Firefly and talking about them, and Adam came in and sat down, a beer in each hand, sits down, and he starts regaling us with stories of behind-the-scenes stuff, and this scene was that, and I remember having to do this. It was super cool, and afterwards, he took photos with me and Autumn and Alana, because Alana was with us at that time. And I still have those photos, but it was such a great moment to have, a star from a television show just be kind of a real person, show up to an invitation where he didn't have to. He was on his off time. He could have done something else, and he just showed up and hung out with fans. That's the kind of thing that keeps me going back to DragonCon. But I want to ask, I know Steven's fanboy moment he kind of went through with the 501st. Autumn, you have a fangirl moment that we still talk about to this day.
I think I know this one. I think I know this one. I think I know this one.
He does.
Would you like to regale our listeners with your fangirl moment at DragonCon?
Not really.
Do it.
Not really.
Do it. If you ever want to come back on the podcast, do it.
Oh, shut up.
I live here. There'll be no cookies for the maze.
Right.
Yeah, so one particular year, I'm a huge Battlestar Galactica fan. I remember the original show as a kid, so I actually really liked the remake. Um,
Remake was
and
good.
I was running between, I think I was running between some events I was judging, because that was the year where I was judging a costume contest, and I was also working vendor tables.
Yeah.
And I was running like down, I can't remember, it's like down, there's this down thing where you come down by the pool by the Hilton, I want to say, or is it the Hyatt?
It's the Hyatt going to the Hilton.
The Hyatt going to the Hilton. Anyways, there's like this divot, and you go down the steps, and you come back up the steps, and it's it's near, it's like on the way to Poop Lions. And I was heading down, and I was in a hurry, and coming up the steps was Trisha Heffler, and she was no handler, no anything, just Trisha Heffler. And she's like kind of going up as I'm going down, and I look at her, and she smiles at me, and I was like, "Oh my God, you're so beautiful!" Just like choked, like totally choked. She's like, "Oh, thanks," and like that was it. Just, of all the things I could have said, like, "Oh, I loved your work," as six, or no, the beautiful.
I guarantee you there was a lot of people there that tried to say even that and couldn't. They were probably just like, and like fell down the stairs.
I did get that out.
Like,
I did get that.
At least you got farther.
But I mean, I felt so freaking stupid, and she is really ungodly pretty, and she is ungodly tall as well. She's very attractive in real life as well. But I think I was just having a fangirl moment, and I was on my way somewhere that I was late, so I didn't like think about it. But I was like, oh my God, I have to acknowledge Trisha Heffler's existence, and that was the only thing that fell out of my full mouth.
Right.
So yeah, like the most fanboy thing that she's probably heard every single day of her life.
That's still a cool story. There's no shame there. At least you weren't.
You know what's worse? I'll tell you one that's even worse that my husband doesn't. Well, he knows about this. I'm a wrestling fan. Well, one of my best friends here in Atlanta works a lot of promotions. She was just with Jay Uso at a promotional thing for like the juice or whatever he's promoting. And so she sends me a text of a picture of them, and I was like, oh my God. So I write on a card, I'm at work, and I write on a card, I love you, Jay. Well, I spelled it J-A-Y, not J-E-Y, because I spelled it phonetically. And his name is J-E-Y. And she sends me a text back. He said, he loves you too, but his name is spelled wrong.
Oof.
It's like, fuck. I'm going to be the girl that spelled his name wrong for the rest of eternity. So, like, if I ever meet him...
Not DragonCon related, but definitely fangirl moments.
But hey, it's still a fangirl moment.
We always choke when we meet our idols, I think. Like,
we do.
You think you're going to be so smooth, and no, you're not.
You think you're going to be, and you try to be. And I remember, my fanboy moment, and it's not really fanboyish. I mean, I had a near fanboy moment when I actually got to talk to Stan Lee briefly as I passed him in a hallway. But he was on his way somewhere, so I didn't really get to fanboy. I probably looked like a complete fanboy, but did not get to fanboy. But the fanboy moment that pops up for me was the very first year that I decided to cosplay. Autumn talked me into cosplaying. I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to do a Firefly costume, and I'm going to do a Captain Mal costume. So I bought the long brown coat. I had the pants with the brown stripe. I had the suspenders. I had the shirt. I even got a resin copy of the gun of Mal's pistol. And I went around the con. I was like one of the first people at DragonCon to go around dressed as Malcolm Reynolds. And I walked into, that was back when they used to have the Walk of Fame at the back end of the vendor hall. That tells you how long ago this was. And I was going into the vendor room and just happened to go down through the area where they had the Walk of Fame, and Nathan Fillion was there. And I popped the corner, didn't realize his table was near the corner, and I hear somebody say, nice costume, and I turn around and look, and it's Nathan Fillion. So I was able to jump the line and grab a quick photo with him. He grabbed my phone. As everybody knows he's wont to do, he will take your phone, and he is an expert selfie taker. So he took a selfie of us, gave the phone back to me. He signed a couple autographs for me, which are hanging on the wall in my Hall of Games now. So that was kind of my fanboy moment, to have Captain Tight Pants himself tell me that my Malcolm Reynolds costume was pretty cool. So
yeah, Nate's the man, dude.
He's pretty cool. Best part of the con for you, Autumn, what would that be?
I mean, I like blowing money at the dealer's room, but honestly,
He does.
parties.
She really does.
Parties, I love the parties. Like, for me, I'm super psyched about the onesie party this year. I have an aerial onesie. The Master of Mazes has a spider one with little arms. It's so fucking cute. And then
It's
you
just
know,
diabolically sinister. It's not cute.
Yeah,
it
totally.
is adorable. It's super cute.
Right.
And then I've gotten really I'm involved with a lot of the cosplay of Gilead and the parade, but one of the other things is swag and seek. I am a
Oh, yeah.
resin artist and I make dice and stuff like that. And swag and seek has really taken into a life of its own now. I mean, there are
Holy
so
cow.
many amazing things that people are giving away, and I'm bringing a lot of stuff too. Like I think I've got like 150, and then people are like, just this is stuff that they could sell as well. Like I have little
Yeah,
dice, you know, and some of them
absolutely.
won't survive. You know, we
Yeah.
might get 4 out of 7 that make it, you know, and the others are just a lost cause. And I'm like, okay, in the swag and seek bag it goes. Well, now I got a freaking 10-pound bag of flipping dice, you know, little things that, you know, I've picked up that, oh, this will be cute to give away. And people come up with some really freaking creative ideas. Marriott carpet dice. I've seen, you know, cat lady pins,
Yeah.
fandom pins. It's so, I'm super
You know,
hyped for swag and
So
seek.
that's like
Yeah.
you can trade things that you have, like it's a trade.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I was gonna ask you what
So
it
what
was,
Well,
but
you
it's
can
you
do is
explained it.
it's 3
actually,
different things. They
yeah, you
have an
can trade.
actual official meeting on
Yeah.
Thursday, which I will
Yep.
be at, and I may help
And
MC.
people trade stuff. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And people
Okay.
trade stuff, and
But
then
how it
you
really
also leave
started,
stuff.
yeah, how it really started was people would take things and
Hmm.
hide it around the con. They would hide it in planners. They would put it up on top of vending machines.
Yeah,
And
like the
then if you
geocache
found it,
stuff where you hide stuff
yeah,
around. Yeah.
and so if you found it, it was yours to keep, or you
Hmm.
could trade it, or you could re-hide it. And then eventually, it was only a couple people doing it at first. Then it kind of took on a life of its own, and it became the official Dragon Con Swag and Seek group.
Hmm.
And so they put now there are people that have little cards that they put into a little
Mhm.
plastic bag with the thing they hide,
Hmm.
and it says, "Hey, congratulations, you found a piece of swag. Keep me, rehide me, trade me, do whatever you want, but it's
Hmm.
yours to keep." And I have found some really cool stuff. We found Autumn mentioned the quote unquote poop lions earlier. For those who aren't familiar,
I heard
there
that and
is
was like, I'm gonna let that shit go because
yeah,
I'm
No,
not.
exactly what it's
there are
called.
two
Yeah.
there are two art pieces of lions. They're obviously some kind of a conceptual art.
Hmm.
They're lion shaped, but they're not actually lions.
Right.
That were done, and we
They're
call
by
them
the
the poop
Marriott.
lions because people. I don't know how poop lions got started, but it got started years ago and it just stuck.
Hmm.
But somebody actually did little 3D printings of the lions. So we've
Mhm.
got one of those. I mean, we've gotten dice, we've gotten little dragons, we've
Hmm.
gotten all kinds of cool little bits and pieces that are just, it's neat to find. But I see little kids around and I
Yeah.
hide it someplace that's obvious so a child can find it
Right.
to get that child to get that same enthusiasm that we do for the con so that
Yeah.
they want
Yeah.
to go back as they grow up.
Yeah.
Um, so that's definitely a good part for me. Let's talk a little bit about celebrities this year.
Hmm.
Not a lot of celebrities on my radar this year. Unfortunately, Ed Greenwood is not on the guest list this year. But the person I'm most excited to see and hopefully meet is Steve Jackson of Steve Jackson Games. I'm hoping to meet him and maybe sit in on a couple of his panels. Mark Meir is going to be back. Mark is you guys know him from Mass Effect. He's the voice actor there. He's done a lot of live play D&D podcasts and stuff. He's a great voice actor. He does the improv D&D, which is a great show where they basically will ask the audience for input. Then they take that and blend it into their live action game on stage. And these actors and other people are trying to role play their way through the game. And it's pretty fun. So I'm interested in seeing him again. Michael Stackpool, who we talked about earlier, is going to
Yeah.
be there. I'm pretty excited about seeing him, getting him to sign a copy of my book if he's available to do so. Deborah Ann Woll is going to be there. Uh, Most of you know her from Daredevil. She was in True Blood. I'm the most excited about the fact that she is a celebrity dungeon master. And I think she's got some great talent as a dungeon master. Her enthusiasm for the game, her love of the game just shows in everything she does. So if she does a panel, I will definitely be trying to sit in on that or at least watch it on DragonCon TV. Um, I don't know, Autumn, if there's any celebs you were looking for this year. I don't think we saw any on the list that you were excited about.
Well, you know, because I'm a huge BattleTech, you know, diehard clanner. So he's on my list.
Just so you know, he doesn't like Clanners, so there you go.
I know, I don't care.
So he
We're
has the
better.
right opinion. Down with
We're
Clanners,
better.
whatever. House Davian.
Ghost Bear
So
Dominion forever, babe.
whatever. So, so people probably want to know, or maybe you don't, but we're going to tell you anyway. When and where will the Master of Mazes team be during the con? Wednesday, we are going to be at the Marriott at the Pulse Bar. If you are familiar with Dragon Con, everybody knows where the Pulse Bar is. It is a landmark there on the atrium floor. We will be there for the Onesie Wednesday party at 8 o'clock, meeting some of the other Dragon Con locals who have now changed their name officially to Atlanta Con locals, since there are so many conventions in Atlanta and we don't just go to Dragon Con. So we're going to meet some of those folks there Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Thursday, we'll be going early in the morning to get our badges, meeting some friends for lunch, and then just basically walking around the convention. I will most likely have on my Master of Mazes costume Thursday afternoon and evening. So if you see me, you can't miss me. I look just like my persona on Instagram and Facebook and our website. And I'll be handing out business cards and talking to people. If you're in costume, please stop, talk to us. We're going to do some shorts from the convention that we're going to post up on YouTube and on Instagram. I'd like to get with some people and get their favorite memories and stuff of Dragon Con to kind of add to this Dragon Con extravaganza MazeCast we're doing. Friday, Saturday, Sunday still to be determined, but we will update the website. We will update Instagram and all to let you guys know where we are. If you want to see us or meet up and have a little get together, we would love to do that. Our wish list. So, those of you who have been following me on Instagram and on Facebook on Discord have seen that I just posted up a piece of Justin Gerard art called The Eye of the Beholder. It was a canvas print I picked up at Dragon Con last year. I had it stretched and framed. It only took me 11 months. I know, shame on me. But it's up and it's hanging in our Hall of Games now. I was really hoping that Justin would be there this year, but he is not listed on the attendee list for the Artist Alley. So pretty disappointed, but Charles Urbach will be there. I've got a couple pieces of his art in the Hall of Games. So we're going to be looking to see what he's got to add to the collection. Other than that, I don't really have a lot on my wish list. Chessex, we go to Chessex every year. They have a big booth in the vendor hall. So we could pick up dice. They do Dragon Con branded dice every year. Yes. More dice, yes. My wife is a dice goblin, for those who are not aware.
I make dice because I don't get enough dice. I had to learn how to make them, and I still buy them.
Not true. She has so many dice.
I have so many.
Drunken Dragon Hotel does some really cool Dragon Con specific merchandise that we're going to check out this year, as well as Geeky Endeavors. They sold us some really cool badge holders this year that are multi-purpose. They hold not only your badge, but your ID, your wallet, your cash, credit cards, all in one place right around your neck where it's secure. So I'm super excited about showing those off and going by their booth and seeing what they have. Things that we're hoping get announced.
Tentacle Kitty. I love her stuff.
Tentacle Kitty, yes, every year Tentacle Kitty. And then I'm always on the lookout for vintage D&D books or vintage game books. So a couple years, it's been hit or miss lately. There's been a few years where they'll have vintage book dealers there and they'll sell some first and second edition stuff. But last year I didn't see any. So this year we'll see if somebody shows up or not. As far as things we're hoping get announced, we were hoping for a BG4 announcement, but hey, unfortunately, Dragon Con is not that convention. Most of your big announcements go on at New York Comic Con, San Diego Comic Con, or out at PAX. We don't get a lot of that at Dragon Con. But we do have some other news, and I think the Apprentice is tired of hearing us talk. Steven, what did you have in the way of gaming news?
Well, Baldur's Gate 4 was announced. Well, I guess officially acknowledged that it's real. But Larian's not going to be making it, so WotC's going to find another studio to make it. I'm not going to talk shit.
No, we don't do that on the channel.
But, you know, I'm hoping it's at least good.
It's a mistake. It was a mistake, WotC. Mistake.
I mean, Larian made him $90 million and they let him walk. I think that's insane. But we'll see what happens. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. I feel like if they couldn't reach an agreement, I thought WotC was just going to can it and say whatever, and they were going to be done. So I'm glad it's real. I'm glad they're doing something, but I don't know.
I'm hesitant. I'm hopeful, but I also know that WotC has the ability to snatch defeat out of the jaws of victory.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see what they do. I'm
Yeah.
hoping for the best, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, even if they copy and paste the original game and just like change it up a little bit, it'll still be worth a playthrough. The
Yeah,
original, I mean, Baldur's Gate 3 was like one of the greatest games of all time. So it'll be hard to hit that measuring stick with a different team, but I'm gonna have fun with it. You know, if I get to run around as like an absolute idiot as a dwarf and just screw people over, I'm gonna have fun. I mean, it's not that hard to please somebody like me. But
well,
we'll see.
you've got some Vampire the Masquerade news too.
Yeah, the game's finally coming out October 21st. It's been in development for like 12 years.
Nice.
It's gone through like so much development hell, it's unbelievable.
Right.
But I mean, it's got an official date, official gameplay. It's coming out. People are excited. I'm excited. I love the World of Darkness setting in general. I know we've talked about it before. I just think it's really cool. So that's the first time an official date has happened. They've been giving like since 2015. They're like, oh, Q2 next year maybe, and now it's finally like October 21st. It's coming out. Um, Cautiously optimistic about that one. Just development hell has a way to limit your expectations there. So we'll see. Chinese Room's done some cool stuff. Their developers are talented. So I'm not saying it's going to be bad. The original was so good. I mean, it was a flash in the pan. I think it was like 2004 or something. It came out. It was so cool. It just did things that games back then didn't do. So we'll see. I'm excited.
Right.
I'm excited.
Okay. Well, let's do a little DM advice. Like we said last podcast, we'd like to just take a couple of minutes every one of these to just kind of drop a DM tip for people, because DMing is hard. It's not an easy job. I would say for those of you who are thinking of DMing, I would say look into doing a session zero. I think session zeros are kind of important for setting expectations, not only for your players, for them to let you know what they expect from you as a DM, but to allow your players to know what you expect as a DM from them. Because you should have fun too. As a DM, you should have fun in your game just like the players should. But I think you need to set some very clear expectations at the very onset of your game, some very clear lines of what is and what is not acceptable, and find out from your players. There are sheets out there that you can download, that you can hand to your players as a little worksheet. You tell me what is and what is not acceptable. Is slavery off limits for you? What about racism? What about children being murdered by like a goblin raid or something like that? Find out from your players what they're comfortable with, what they're not comfortable with, and then make notes for yourself. I hang things on the back of my screen. So and so doesn't like this. This person doesn't like that. This person thinks this is awesome. That way, I kind of always am familiar with where boundaries are and try to be respectful of those. So add that to your tool belt. I think it's something that's important and will benefit you in the long run. Other than that, I think we've talked everybody's ear off for quite some time. Anybody have anything they want to say about DragonCon before we do our outro?
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I can't wait to give out swag. Can't wait to get dice. Can't wait to meet everybody at the onesie party. And it's actually possibly going to be, may the gods hear this, possibly in the 80s and not 100 freaking degrees.
That'd be nice.
Have a cold front
That'd be nice.
coming
They're
through.
saying it's supposed to be a fake fall next week. So
Oh my God! Please let it be.
That'd be
please
nice.
Let this come true.
Because last year it was almost 100 degrees every day. It was ridiculous.
Not for me.
Everyone who cosplays, who's in the parade, their prayers, I know, are the same as mine. All we are saying is just please don't let it rain, don't let it get hot. If it could be like breezy and 78, like that would be perfect. So I'm pretty hyped for the fact that there's a sudden cold front on the way, and let's hope that comes through.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to DragonCon. We have friends come in from out of town. Our friend Darren from Kentucky, who's big into the Klingon cosplay and does a lot with Trek Track, and he's also a DragonCon volunteer every year. He will be coming down to stay with us Monday, and then he will go over with us downtown to the hotels on Wednesday. Our friend Scott Aiken is coming in from California, or as we like to call it, the People's Republic of California with a K. He will be coming in to visit. He didn't get to come last year because he did not win in the Hunger Games and could not get a hotel room. So we haven't seen him in 2 years, so it'll be good to see him. Other than that, I'm looking forward to Swag and Seek. That's always a lot of fun. I will be trolling the vendor halls and the art alleys for Steven. The apprentice loves him some Godzilla. So last year we picked up a couple of really cool Godzilla prints for him.
This whole cabinet over here is full of it. I need to organize it. It looks insane.
Yep. Even though one guy was told 3 times, it's Steven with a PH, and he still signed it with a...
They never believe you, man. You'd be surprised how many times I've been called Stephen Boothie in my life, bro. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. So we will be looking for some cool Godzilla or maybe some cryptid art.
Cryptid art, man. Mothman's real.
I'm looking for some Tiamat stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tiamat. Tiamat's always good.
Yeah, I'll be sending my wish list over, man. I've got it typed up. I'll send it over.
Type it up, send it to me, and we'll be on the lookout for it.
Yeah, there'll be a PG version and then a rated R version.
Any vendors for DragonCon who might have tuned in by accident, as I'm sure it wasn't on purpose, I am looking for vintage Star Frontiers, a box set, complete box set. Hook me up. I'm willing to pay a good penny for it. And any vintage first or second edition D&D books, modules specifically, if they're in good condition. That's all I've got. If none of the rest of you have anything, I will say, adventurers, we appreciate all of you joining us. We hope that you will hit that like button. If you have not already done so, that you will subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and comment below. In the comments below, we will have descriptions and links for everything that we talked about tonight. And we hope that you will join us in conversation. Let us know what you'd like to see from us in the future. So, with that, we will bid you all adieu. And we will see you next time in the maze.
See ya.
Good night, everybody.
Bye.